How do you sell in a way that actually works and doesn't annoy people and doesn't piss them off and doesn't make you feel like total and absolute slime? That's what we're going to talk about in this video, the psychology of selling. There's going to be 4 very specific things that I share that are going to be probably very different from how you have ever been taught to sell, or different from what you think about selling. But I'm excited to share this with you because I know that if you do this, it actually works. Like, if you embrace these philosophies and these psychological shifts, that will not only help you make more money, but it'll help you enjoy your job. It'll help you fall in love with the profession of selling. It'll help you be better at communicating with people, and it'll help you make a bigger impact in the world. So let's get into it. Number 1, first thing is you need to realize that your job is serving, not selling. Our approach is something that we refer to as service-centered selling. This is a big psychological shift for most people, right? Because you've probably heard things like sell or be sold. There's always a sale being made. Either you sell them on why they need to buy from you, or they sell you on why they don't. Or ABC, always be closing. Or all of these things you hear about sales, which actually are just not a great way to sell. Like, if you live in that world, it's going to burn you out. You're just going to be running and gunning, and it's just a total numbers game, and it's just a war and a grind. It doesn't have to be that way. Sales is a beautiful profession. It's a tremendous professional skill set that very few people have, and if you get good at it, you'll make a lot of money if you don't burn out, right? And you don't have to burn out. It doesn't have to be so hard. Like, let it be easy. Let it be easy, and the way to let it be easy is by serving, not selling. So what we want you to do is, instead of thinking of this as an adversarial type of encounter where it's like you versus them, right? And going like, they're going to say this, and then I'm going to say this, and then they're going to say that. No. Think about it as like you're coming around and you're sitting on their side. So it's not you against them, it's you for them, right? It's not you versus them, it's you on the same side as them. You're helping them, you're supporting them. Your job is to help them figure out if you have something that can make their life better or make their business better. Like, you're on their team. It shouldn't be adversarial. It shouldn't be confrontational. You shouldn't have to think about it like a war. You shouldn't have to get revved up for that like you're going into battle every day. It's not that. You're just talking to people and you're seeing if you can help them. And if you think of it as serving, not selling, that'll help a lot. Okay, that leads into number 2. Number 2 is questions, not statements. Questions, not statements. Great professional salesmanship is about being a master question asker. It is more to do with being a great listener than it does to do with being a great talker. What makes a great salesperson? It's being a great listener, not a smooth talker. It's being able to listen to people. And so the answer is in the questions. It's to ask a lot of questions, to listen more than you talk. And not just a little bit, a lot of it. If you're doing a great job as a professional salesman, like 80% of the conversation should be you listening to them. It should be you asking questions. Asking questions about what? Asking questions about their situation and what they're currently struggling with, and what frustrations they have, and what isn't working, and what is their vision. Like, what do they really want to have versus what they do have, and why haven't they been able to experience that, and what would be a perfect scenario. All of that is investigative work into figuring out if what you have is actually going to make their life better. So questions, not statements. Listening, not talking. This will help you. How do I know this? Because I knocked on doors 14 hours a day, 6 days a week for 5 summers, all through my undergrad and graduate school. It was part of how I paid my way through college, and it was horrible. It was so hard, and it was really discouraging. There was a lot of rejection, as you can imagine, and as I became a professional and started training and working with salespeople and small business owners, and my wife and I built an 8-figure sales coaching company that we sold. We now coach small businesses on their branding and their marketing and mission-driven messengers, as we say. We do personal brand strategy. But what I realized is it doesn't have to be this battle. It doesn't have to be this thing you have to gear up. You just have to go into it with a service-centered heart, like a servant's heart, and you go in, and when your artillery, your weapons are questions. They're not statements, because it's not a battle, right? It's more like you're a doctor. If anything, it's more like you're a doctor, and it's less like you're a warrior. Like, it doesn't have to be that. You can be prescriptive in nature. You can be consultative. You can be investigative. Like, you can be service-centered, there to help. You have the heart of a teacher, and you're a curious learner about their situation, and then determining and seeing if you can help them with what you have. So that leads to number 3. Your job is not to create pressure. Your job is to give them space. Whenever people think of selling, they think of pressure, pressure, pressure. Like, you got to push them to make a decision. You don't have to push them to make a decision. If you do a good job of understanding what they need, and you actually have the right fit to help them get to where they want to go, they'll make the decision for themselves. Like, all you have to do is create the context. Like, all you have to do is understand, okay, this is what they want, and here is what we have, and will what we have help them get to what they want? If what we have will help them get to what they want, then they will make a decision themselves. They will buy. You won't be able to stop them from buying. But if you come into it sort of like sideways with this like, ninjutsu kind of attack of how am I going to respond to every single thing they say with the perfect statement back, like, you're not serving them. You're trying to beat them. You're trying to defeat them. You're trying to win, right? They only win. It's not if they buy, you win and they lose. They should never lose. They only should win. And sometimes you win with them because the thing that you have helps them get what they want. And so that in that way, you win with them. And other times they win because you help them figure out that your solution isn't the right fit, and you can help them get on to figuring out whatever they need. But that's giving them space, not creating pressure. The space doesn't mean you're not going to encourage them to buy. The space doesn't mean you're going to be weak or soft. Space means you're okay if they don't buy. Space means you're not desperate for them to buy. Space means you don't have commission breath. Space means you're not serving your own self-centered interest of like, I need them to buy so I can make money and I can get awards and I can be recognized and whatever. It's just giving them space to go, what is right for them? Like, what is the best thing for them? If you genuinely sit in the space of what is the best thing for them? I mean, can't you tell a difference? Like, can't you tell a difference in real life when somebody is actually trying to help you versus when someone's trying to take advantage of you? You can, right? Which of those people do you trust more? Do you trust the person who's genuinely trying to help you, or do you trust the person who you can sort of tell is somehow trying to take advantage of you? Of course, it's the former. You are more likely to trust the person who is genuinely trying to help you. So be there to genuinely help. Be concerned and put their actual interests first. That's what we mean by space. It doesn't mean that you're afraid to ask for the sale. It doesn't mean that you don't prospect. It doesn't mean that you're not aggressive in terms of how hard you work and in terms of the number of people you talk to. But it does mean that you're not creating pressure on any individual person to buy. You don't have that sense of desperation because it's not about you. It's only about them. You're there with sort of this curious, heart of understanding what do they need and seeing if you can help them. Give them space, don't create pressure. And if you give them space, you're going to find that they're more likely to buy. In fact, one of the techniques we use, we call it the pressure-free promise. The pressure-free promise. And it's super simple. You use it anytime you feel like there's pressure being created in the conversation. All you have to do is pull this out. This little phrase, we call it the pressure-free promise. You're just going to go to it if you start to sense any type of pressure. And the pressure-free promise is just promising them that you're not going to put pressure on them. And you can say it different ways. It's not, the magic isn't saying this verbatim. What's magic is the psychology of the statement and the heart and then the space at which you say this statement from. But here's what it sounds. It sounds something like this. You say, hey, you know what, Lisa? I just want to let you know that my job, my goal is not to convince you to buy something. My job is to help you understand what is the right thing for you. And I just want to help you take a really good look at this product or the service that I have, and I just want to show it to you. And I just want you to be able to look at it honestly. And if it's a great fit for you, then let's go ahead and buy it. Like, I'll encourage you to do it. But I want to let you know right now up front that if it's not the right fit, if it's not what you need, if it's not the thing that's going to help you get to where you want to go, I'm not going to talk you into it. I'm not going to put pressure on you. Like, my one promise is that no matter what, I'm not going to pressure you. I'm here to help you make a great decision. Isn't that amazing? Like, isn't that so honest and so straightforward and so true, right? And you can totally stand in both a place of service for them, but also in a place of strength of going, if this is for you, let's get it. If it's not for you, let's not get it. And that leads me to the fourth part here of creating sales that works, the psychology of selling that actually works, is changing your mindset to realize that your job is not to get yeses. Your job is to get clear decisions. See, what creates pressure on both you and them is when you think, as the salesperson, when you think your job is to make them a yes. When you think that your job is to convince them to do something, that creates pressure on who? Well, it creates pressure on them, but guess what? It also creates pressure on you because it makes you feel like you've got to somehow muster up this magic skill set to take someone and convince them to do something against their will, to force them into something that they don't want to do. And that creates pressure on you because that's not how you're wired. That's not how we're created. Like, we're not created to take advantage of other people. We're created to serve other people, to be in relationship and fellowship with people, to add value to people's lives. And we get meaning when our lives get meaning when we serve other people. That is where our life gets meaning from. And so if we are somehow convincing ourselves that we have to work against that, that's going to be a conflict, and it's going to create pressure not only on them, you're going to be putting pressure on them, but you're actually going to be putting pressure on yourself, which means you're going to burn out, you're not going to like your job, you're going to have call reluctance, and it's going to be this like emotional battle every day to show up and do your job, which is just to help people and talk to people and see if what you have is the right fit for them, okay? So your job, you have to switch. These are like 4 switches that you have to flip in your brain to create sales that actually works. And this fourth one is this shift from going, my job is not to create yeses, my job is to help create decisions, strong decisions. So a yes is good, a no is fine, but what's not okay is maybe. Maybe is not okay. Why? Because maybe doesn't serve them, right? Like, maybe doesn't give them clarity about what they should do next. They're just sitting in indecision. So it definitely doesn't serve you, right? Like that leaves you in limbo. You're like, okay, should I call this person back or not? But let's put that aside because we're not focused on you. We're focused on them. Maybes are a disservice to your prospect because if they say yes, then great, we know what the next step is. We know what the next action. Let's buy, let's sign the agreement, let's get this going, let's get it set up. It's like, woohoo, pop the bottles of champagne, party streamers, like, let's go, let's do this, let's make it happen. That's a service. If they say no, that's also a service because they go, great, they can check you off the list. They can go, nope, I took a great look at what you were doing. It's not a perfect fit for what we need right now. Now I can get on with my life and I can go find something else that will help me. I can go find something that I really need. But if you leave them with maybe, maybe is nasty. Like, maybe is unhelpful. Maybe is disgusting. Like, maybe is a disservice because that keeps them stuck. It keeps them from moving forward. It's maybe is an indulgent place to sit. Maybe is a form of just procrastination. Like, it's not helpful. So if you're going to have an enemy, make maybe your enemy. Don't make no your enemy. No is a necessary companion of yes. No is a necessary stepping stone of yes. No is something that we have to come across in order to get to yes. Maybe is the enemy. If there is an enemy, it is maybe. And here's the thing you can tell them, part of that pressure-free promise. You can say, you know what? If after our time today, or you give them some deadline, depends on what you're selling and how complex the sale is, but you say, you know what? If after some point, if you're not 100% sure this is a good fit for you, I'm going to tell you to make it no. In fact, I'm going to make this a no for you. I'm not going to allow you to have maybe. I'm just going to make it a no. So if you're sure, then let's go ahead and sign up. Let's get you started, right? Like, let's go. Let's make this improvement, and I'll be excited to help make sure that happens for you. And if it's a no, that's totally okay. But if it's a maybe, I'm going to tell you what. Not only am I not going to pressure you to say yes, I'm going to turn it into a no for you. I'm going to make it a no so that you can move on confidently in the direction of something else. My job isn't to somehow take a no and magically convert it to a yes. My job is to see if what I have actually serves what you really need. That's my job. My job isn't to take a no and to somehow magically turn it into a yes. My job is to see if what I really have actually fits what you really need. To see if what I really have actually fits what you really need. That is the job of a service-centered sales professional. You change these 4 things, you flip these 4 switches in your mind, I promise you that is a new psychology of selling. It is a new mindset for both you and your prospects that will make your sales actually more effective. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to share it with somebody. If you have a question, leave a comment down below. And by the way, if you want to learn more about the 4 levels of influence, this is what I spend my entire life studying, the psychology of influence. Hit subscribe and check out some of our other videos.